Exactly. To understand the Russian attitude towards education, one must realize that scholars there enjoyed much greater prestige than those in Britain or the United States. So because like in a developing world, the education is different than developed world. Because that's like, for example, in Sudan, if you're a teacher, oh, you're in a high position. You know what that means? But here, if you're a teacher, you're a normal person. It's like exactly when you're a police, is also you're a normal person. If you're a soldier, you're also normal. Because that's why everyone is soldier. So are you telling me that, okay, you're a soldier? That's all, okay? So that's why if you're comparing to Russia and also the United States or Britain, there is huge difference, okay, in terms of educational attitude. How do people think about the education? And particularly the educators also. So that's why he puts this way, to understand the Russian attitude towards education, one must realize, one must recognize or see, okay, that scholars, people who are educated, okay, there enjoy much greater prestige. That means they're more honored in a very high position. Look at me, I'm a professor. Okay, so that's what they are doing. Exactly. Okay, they're showcasing, things. It's incredible for them. Get greater prestige than those in Britain or the United States. Okay, because here the education is not a new thing. Good. So now we have option one. One reason for the great prestige enjoyed by Russian scholars is that they are more involved in education than or scholars in Britain or the United States, okay? Or number two, British and American scholars are often unaware that their attitudes toward education make their positions much less prestigious than the positions of Russian scholars. And number three, British and American scholars realize that they are different from Russian scholars because they enjoy less prestige and have also different attitudes toward education. Then number four said, knowing that being a scholar is much more prestigious in Russia than in Britain or the United States, it's necessary for understanding what Russians think about the education. So what's your option from those four?
Number four?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, number four is the correct answer because that's what you need to understand. And there is a huge difference between United States, Britain, and Russian education.
Okay.
Yes, great. Let's go to number 16. Yes.
As for the Spanish conquistador Francisco
Pizarro.
Invaded Peru in 1532. European technology rapidly supplanted an indigenous metallurgical method of northern Peru.
Exactly. So now why Latin America speaks Spanish, it's because of the Spanish Empire. That's why Spanish invaded most of the, Southern America. In the 15th century and so. And that's or so-called, they say, like, they discovered, okay, the Americas, both the United States and also what's called the Latin America. So that's why here you want to compare between the period before the Spanish. People also had metal, okay, manufacturing, but when the invaders came, they changed that into a different way. So that's why he put this in 16. After the Spanish conquistador Francisco Pizarro invaded Peru in 1532. Yes, that was a long time. European technology rapidly supplanted, rapidly replaced. Okay, rapidly, this one more time. Tikrar. But supplanted, that means replaced or placed or taken over something. Okay, so rapidly, one by one, it's taking over the old one, the tradition one, and brought the new one. Okay, yes, supplanted. So that means to replace, to change. Okay, supplanted the indigenous meteorological methods of northern Peru. Meteorological means a study of or the science of metal. How people make metals, yes. Okay, like irons.
Yes.
It's the science of iron making. Yes, that is meteorology. Okay, methods of northern Peru. So people who were in northern Peru knew how to make metals, but they were making a traditional or conventional way. But when European came, they changed that and they make more modern one. Yes, exactly. So we have option 1 says the traditional method weapons of northern Peru proved inadequate against the technologically advanced ones of Pizarro, who invaded Peru in 1532. Number 2. After Pizarro invaded Peru in 1532, he discovered that much of European technology was based on old metal-making methods native to northern Peru. 3. In 1532, using technologically superior European weapons, Pizarro invaded Peru and stole traditional metal objects from the northern part of the country. Or number 4, northern Peru's native metal-making methods were quickly replaced by European technology following Pizarro's invasion of Peru in 1532. What is the correct answer from this?
I said number 4.
Exactly, I'll say yes.
Really?
Yes, because number 4 is replacing its technological advance from the old era to the new era. So when he invaded, he changed a lot of things, including the iron. Okay, so it's invasion, غزو. Yes.
Invasion.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yes. Okay. Understood? Questions there?
No.
Okay, so let's go to the next page.
Next.
Yeah.
Over the last 10 years, expenditures or research by French companies have increased
Annually, yes.
Annually by more than 5%.
Exactly. So over the last 10 years. So now it's a prediction of 10 years that people predicted before, and now it came true and it passed. Okay, so it's a decade ago. The expenditure on research by French companies has increased annually by more than 5%. So research companies are the companies that are looking for something. Okay, that's the research. Bahs then. شركة تشغيل بحوث. 1. In the past 10 years, there has been an annual increase of over 5% in the number of French companies investing in research. Okay, and number 2, every year for the past 10 years, French companies have spent at least 5% of their total expenditure on research. 3, the French companies which have invested money in research over the past decade have increased their profits by more than 5%. 4, French companies have also increased the amount of money they spend on research by over 5% each year during the past decades. So look carefully which one is the correct answer.
Okay. In the past 10 years, an annual increase of 5% in number of French companies. Even number 4, I said.
Sorry. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not a correct answer.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why here number 3, the French companies which have also invested money in research over the past decades have also increased their profits by more than 5%. Because that's mean expenditure, it's mean profit. The money that you pay for expenses. مصاريف. Okay? Yes. So that's the money that they pay. Yes.
Increase هنا على الفائدة.
Yeah, to add more. Okay? Whenever you add, so that means profit. Yes. Okay? Understood?
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Yes. So now let's go to reading comprehension.
Comprehension.
Yes,
King
we're going to read.
King Alfred was one of the greatest men in the history of Britain. He exhibited. He exhibited courage and leadership in war. He had a great love of law and learning. Alfred was born in 849 CE.
Yes.
His childhood was not an easy one, since he grew up during a time of great suffering. The Vikings were continually raiding the country, destroying and killing wherever they went, and settling in towns after driving out
inhabitants.
Yeah,
this is exactly the Janjaweed way. You know what I call?
Yeah.
Because that's been the Vikings before in England, so they were coming from Norway, Sweden, and so on. In Scandinavia generally, they were coming to Great Britain, okay? So when they came there, they were fighting the inhabitants, the people who were living there. And that's why they had a king, the guy who was English, and he was a very popular person. Because he's a man of democracy, the man who wants to spread the law in the country and order. But unfortunately, there were attackers outside of the country, people who were invading the country, coming to take over the land. And that's what he means exactly. So here's what he put in number 1. King Alfred was one of the greatest men in the history of Britain. He exhibited courage and leadership in war. He showed, so it's like exhibited, that's model. Okay, to show. So here he exhibited courage and leadership in war. How he leads, okay, the country. He absolutely showed the people how strong he was. And he had also great love of law and learning. Also, he wanted to have a great law in this state, but also education. Okay, so that's what he had. So Alfred was born in 849 CE, so that's mean after the era of cotton. Okay, his childhood was not an easy one. Yes, exactly. So that's why he suffered a lot. Okay, since he grew up during a time of great suffering. Yes, he grown up in the time when people were suffering, like in the war. Like now we today, so we don't have country or state. So that's why people are moving from place to place. And that's what they had before, exactly. Yes. So the Vikings were continually raiding the country. So Vikings are Scandinavians. Scandinavian. Yes.
Vikings.
Yes. They came and take over people's land and they settle over there. Okay? So they used to do this. We're continually raiding the country, attacking, destroying the country. That's what I mean. Destroying and killing wherever they went. And settling towns after, driving out the inhabitants. They will come and find your city or village. They take over your city or village, and then they settle there. They stay there. Okay? And then you will remain with nothing. Yes, that's absolutely our policy now. Yes, in Africa. Okay, understood?
Yes, I understood.
Great, yes.
Alfred became king in 871 after his brother, King Arthur, was killed in battle. Over the next 7 years, Alfred either fought the Vikings or paid them large sum of money to stop their raids. During this period, he began training a group of loyal warriors who strongly believed that England belonged to the English. In 878, the Viking leaders, Guthrams, surrounded the town of Chippenham. Alfred's disciplined crew managed to drive the Viking out of Chippenham and into the surrounding area. Not satisfied with this, Alfred pursued the Vikings, Knowing he was beaten, Guthrum agreed to meet Alfred to discuss peace terms. Despite the fact that he had been victorious, Alfred offered generous terms. Guthrum was allowed to settle his people in certain part of England, but had to agree to stop the raids and recognize Alfred was overlord. Guthrum consent.
Absolutely. Exactly. This is the most challenging period of time when someone just come and take over your land, and then he wants to settle over there. So the Alfred was a very smart guy. What he did, he first took over the people, he recruited the people who say, England must be for the English. Like, if I say, for example, if I want to liberate Darfur, I need to recruit people who say, yes, Darfur must be for Darfurian, not Sudanese. Okay, then tomorrow I will have a state, right? So that's the same thing. So now if I say Africa must be for the African, so you've got a lot of people who support you. So Alfred used that rhetoric, okay? And that's why he recruited a lot of people, okay, warriors, fighters, people who are fighting to fight the Vikings. And that's why he fought until he beat the Vikings. And that was a victorious moment. It was a moment of, victory. But he didn't say, okay, now I, will defeat you. Now I'm going to take over the land. No. I can say, okay, no problem. You guys can stay. But in case that you're sitting in particular areas, okay, in England, and also to make sure that you're not going to attack my people. Second, to make sure that I am the Lord of England. Okay? So that's what he did, yes. Understood? So let me read over again. Alfred became king, in 871, after his brother, King Athelred, was killed in battle. Yes, there was fighting between him and the other people. Over the next 7 years, Alfred the Vikings paid them large sums of money to stop their raids. He either fought them or paid some money to say, hey guys, I want to bribe you. Don't fight, yes, this is my territory. Okay, so during this period, he began training a group of loyal warriors, people who were loyal to the government of England or loyal to the land.
Loyal.
Yes. Okay. So people who were loyal warriors who strongly believed that England belonged to the English, no one else. Okay, because it's English territory, so it's supposed to be for English people. Okay. So that's why in 878, the Viking leader Guthrum surrounded the town of Chippenham. Yes. Surrounded around the town to attack. Okay. Alfred's well-disciplined troops managed to drive the Vikings out of that town, yes. More disciplined people who insist to fight for their homeland, even if they don't have greater weapons, they can protect because they are not running. They are there to stay and fight for their country. That's discipline. Discipline, all the troops managed to drive the Vikings out of Chippenham and into the surrounding area, into the area around them. And that's what they did. Not satisfied with this, Alfred pursued the Vikings. So, because you guys came from another country and you want to take over my land, so I'll kill you. So he killed them, many, until they said, oh, sorry guys, sorry for coming. Yes, exactly. Okay. And this is what he did, but absolutely he pursued also those Vikings. Good. I think I didn't finish. Okay. Knowing he was bitten, also Guthrum agreed to meet. Yes. He made sure that, he beat this man, the citadels. The leader of the citadel said, okay, so I can come to the negotiating table. Okay, they came to negotiate at the end. Came for a meeting or agreed to meet Alfred to discuss peace terms. Absolutely. to discuss a peace treaty, because otherwise he will kick them out if there is no peace, because the guy developed very strong weapons in a home country and loyal people who want to defend their country. So despite the fact that he had been victorious, even though he was victorious, he didn't say, okay, now I'm the victorious, and I want to kick you out by force. No, he said, okay, now you guys have to sit but in a normal place, yes. No more than that. No power in my homeland. Exactly. Alfred offered generous terms. Gerson was allowed to settle his people in certain parts of England, yes. Only in certain parts. Not everywhere you want. No, because it's not your homeland. That's exactly what they did. Exactly. Good. But had to agree to stop the raids. Had to agree not to fight. Okay? And to recognize Alfred as the overlord, as the leader of the entire England. Yes. Yes. Okay? And Garton consented. He said, yes, I do. Okay? Good.
His name, yes?
Yes, it's the name of the Viking leader in the ancient time. That's a long time ago, almost 1,000 years.
Okay.
Or even more.
And here is Alfred offered generous terms.
Yeah, generous terms. So that means he gave very good terms, very good conditions. Okay? شروط يعني. في المفاوضات ما في شروط مسبق. مش? So that's why here he gave them terms. If you want to settle in my territory, you must be here, either in Tel Aviv or in another side, for example. So that's an example of what he puts. Not everywhere you want. Yes. Okay?
That means offered gives to him.
Yeah, he gave them conditions.
Okay.
But in good conditions. To settle, but in a certain place. And stop attacking people as well.
Okay.
Yes, and Graham consented, that means yes.
Okay.
Consent. Yeah, what
Yes.
Okay.
After the years of warfare, the nation was in need
of reconstruction.
of reconstruction. Okay. Of reconstruction. Alfred founded new schools, inviting learned men from abroad to come to teach in them. He made sure justice was administered. And dealt severely with
Severe. Yes, very tough. Severely with corrupt judges.
Okay. Severely with corrupt judges. He established a navy to guard the coast and encourage the expansions of trade and commerce. He reorganized the militia so that one half accompanied him on military expeditions, while the other half worked in the field.
Yes.
The men exchanged duties every 6 months. During his reign of 29 years, Alfred was dearly loved by his people. And for generation after his death, he was referred to as Alfred the Great.
Exactly. He was a great person. Because if you see the background or biography, like when you see someone, he's also a man of peace, but at the same time doesn't play to lose the country. You know what that means? He loves peace, to settle with the neighbors, to solve the problem, okay, in a peaceful way if they demand. But at the same time, if they attack, he also has a counterattack to those people, okay? And after, he defeated the Vikings, he made sure now this is a time for development. And what can we do? We need to develop from the infrastructure development into the human development. Now he started, bringing people from abroad, from other countries, like scholars, educated people from other countries to try to educate his own people. At the same time, also, he is building the country, making reconstruction. So that's when the war turns on, it was, built before and then war destroyed. So now you're going to rebuild again. So now I start rebuilding the area and bringing people to teach people. Okay, that's what he did. At the same time, also, he opened his schools. But plus that, he also makes sure that this state or peace must not be sustained if there is no military option. Then it starts also, building the military capability, building the navy, which is maritime, which means like navigation forces in the sea, as well as the militias that were around. He joined them together to become a military. Okay, and then they can attack after all if there's any problem. Yes, it's a great man, absolutely. Yes. So that's why after years of war, the nation was in need of reconstruction. Absolutely. The nation was in need of building again, restoration. So that's reconstruction. Alfred founded new schools, inviting learned men from abroad to come and teach in them. Exactly. Now, he made sure justice was administered. Yeah, he made sure that every individual in the country has right to stay freely. Okay? So that's what he did. So he made sure that justice is being administered. Otherwise, there will be corruption. Yes. Yes. And dealt severely with the corrupt judges. And he made sure that every judge who made corruption would be punished. Okay? So it's like this. Exactly. This is a very good person. Because I know that a lot of presidents are paying the judges to be corrupt judge. Okay? Briberies. And that's outrageous. But he made the opposite. He judged the judges. If you make mistake, it will be the problem in corruption. Okay? He established a navy to guard the coasts. Absolutely. To guard the coast of England from both sides. Okay? Quwat al-Bahriya. Yes. Okay. Navy to guard the coast and encourages the expansion of trade and commerce also. Because whenever people in peace, they need to eat and drink, spend whatever they have, right? So that's why he said, okay, let's expand. Yes. Okay, trade and commerce. He reorganized the militia so that one half accompanied him in a military expedition. Yes, they were militias and now they have to be military branch. Which half of them will be accompanying me, will be going with me. Okay? Him on a military expeditions and explorations. Expedition, that's explore. Yeah, expeditions. Yes, while the other half worked in the fields. Yes, the others in the field, like in a base, military base, or farming to save people's lives over there, and the rest were going with the king to protect the king and the state of Great Britain. So the men exchange duties every 6 months. So the national service, like every 6 months, they exchange. Today you're with the king, tomorrow you're in the field. Every 6 months there is exchanging. Okay, not like today.
The Alpha said that.
Yes, exactly. It's the law in a state. So during his reign, during his period or era, of 29 years, he spent like 29 years. Alfred was dearly loved by his people. Absolutely. Why shouldn't people love this person? He did a great job for the Great Britain. He did a great job for the people of England. He liberated their land, gives them freedom, justice, democracy in the society. So that's good. Okay? He did a great job for them. And for generations after his death, okay, he was referred to as Alfred the Great, Al-Azam. Yes, exactly. He's a very great person. Yes. We hope we can do the same in the future. Okay. Any questions over there? Okay. So questions. The main purpose of the text is to? 1. Describe England at the time of King Alfred. 2. explain why Alfred was considered a great king. Or 3, explain how Alfred became king. Or 4, discuss King Alfred's battle with the Vikings.
Okay. Here is explain why Alfred was considered a great king.
Absolutely. Why Alfred, yes, was considered a great king. He did a great job. Yes. All the questions absolutely are the same. They are correct answers. You know what I mean? Because all of them are addressed in the text. You know what I mean? Exactly, you know. I know that described the England. We described also England about, you know, how the great...
Yeah.
Absolutely. And also we explained why Alfred was considered a great king. We also explained how the Alfred became king. But also discussed King Alfred's battle with the Vikings. So all of them. You know what I mean? Good. Number 19.
Number 19. Why was Alfred's childhood difficult?
Why was his childhood difficult? 1, he was forced to leave his town. Or 2, the Vikings were causing great suffering at the time. Or 3, his brother was killed in battle. Or 4, England was ruled by the Vikings then.
Number 2.
Yes, the Vikings were also causing great suffering at the time because there was difficult time. Okay, the Vikings were controlling the area. Okay, and number 20.
Number 20. Okay, in line 12, this refers to.
Okay, in line 12, the word death refers to 1, Alfred's troop being held disciplined. 2, the Viking leader Darfur surrounding the town of Cheltenham. Or 3, Alfred pursuing the Vikings. Or 4, driving the Vikings out of Cheltenham and into the water surrounding area. So which one? Let's get a seat in the 12. I had to remember. Okay, 10. Not satisfied with this. Okay, Vikings champion and into the woods surrounding area. Not satisfied with this, Alfred pursued the Vikings. Okay, exactly. So now, the answer is Alfred's pursuing the Vikings.
Yeah.
Yes, number 3. Exactly. Okay, but driving the Vikings out of Champion and into the woods surrounding area. No, sorry. Number 4. Sorry.
Number 4?
Yeah. What do you say?
What's mean driving outside?
To drive outside, it's like when people are fighting with you or against you, sorry, they're coming toward you, right? Now, if you're strong enough, you can drive them back. So that is driving them out of the land, okay? So that's like this, yes. Understood?
Yes,
okay, great. Let's go to 21.
21. One of the conditions of the peace agreement was that the Vikings had to...
Yeah, one of the conditions of the peace agreement was that the Vikings had to... So what was the term that's been negotiated? 1, accept Alfred as their ruler. 2, join Alfred's army. 3, leave Cheltenham. Or 4, return to their own country. Okay?
Number 1.
Yes, exactly. Accept Alfred as their ruler, because this is my territory. That's what he means.
Yeah. This is his territory.
Yes, because he is English, and that's England. So it's supposed to be for the English. And that's why you guys are coming from Scandinavia. So either go back home or be my citizens.
There is difference between England and English?
No. The Vikings are people who came from Scandinavia.
Scandinavia.
They are not English, okay? But they came to take over England. And now the English can say, what are you saying, guys? Are you joking? This is my territory. So I'll fight until the death. And he fought and succeeded. Yes, that's what he did. It's the opposite. Okay, great. So let's go to 22.
The main purpose of the last paragraph is to describe.
The main purpose of the last paragraph is to describe 1, how Alfred rebuilt England. Or 2, Alfred's reorganization of the army. Or 3, the changes that occurred in England after Alfred's death. Or 3, how Alfred expanded England's trade and commerce. the last paragraph. But it's talking about all of this exactly. Yes. Absolutely, because that means it's including all of them.
Reorganization.
Yeah, reorganization of the army. But he did all of this, but at the end we can call it rebuild England. Rebuild militarily, economically, politically, also judicially. So all sides.
Reorganization.
Yeah, but here is absolutely. So that's why here we can say the number one is the best answer. Because to rebuild the country, it can include both sides. Yeah, it can be the reorganization, change the currencies, whatever.
Of course.
Yes. Okay. So that's what. Understood? Yes. Great. Is it enough or?
Enough.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So we'll have next time. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. See you next time. I don't think we only have the word trap.
Trap.
It's a mouse.
Yes.
It's all the time running around the house, so you want to, stop that. And you want to catch it, so you have to put the trap. Okay? So that's a trap, yes.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome.
Very much.
Yeah, okay. See you next time.
Okay.
Okay.